What is the temp? I didn't even look at the temp.
22 degrees. What are we doing today, Grandpa?
I'm not your grandpa.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
What's that? I'm not your grandpa.
Yeah.
Feel pretty good. Had a couple nice runs this week. It was a windy week again.
Yeah. It's just that time of year, it feels like.
It's gonna be icy here.
Yeah. You want to run on this? You should have seen it the other day. It was a rink.
It's gotta be 25.
Yeah. Why are we running so early on a Saturday?
We're heading to Northwestern Big Ten Wrestling Championships.
Should be fun, huh?
Last time I saw them, it was up in Minnesota when I was in college. Dan Gable was the coach for Iowa. And Iowa had somebody in the finals of every weight class except one. And when that weight wrestled, the crowd started chanting, "Where's Iowa?" And Dan Gable grabbed the microphone from the announcer and said, "About 2 miles west of here." Or 2 hours west of here.
It's funny.
But how times have changed now.
Well, I was gonna say, we might see 9 out of 10 teams have a finalist again.
But it's going to be Penn State.
Yeah. I think I saw something like their average seed for this tournament. It's like 1.8. Isn't that wild?
It'll be interesting to see. Braden Scholes. I've never seen him wrestle. And I didn't realize he was as heavy as what he is. He's with Messenbrink, right?
Yeah, 165.
In high school, what was he? Wasn't he like 140?
Yeah. Around there. If I recall, though, he was like pretty consistently the same weight from freshman to.
So he's done growing once he hit high school.
Well, then he wrestles 165 now, so.
Yeah, I was surprised he's that heavy. And they list him as like somebody that could do some damage.
Yeah. I think he's a 6 seed. My prediction for him is that he'll make it to the semis.
That means he's got to knock somebody out.
He's gonna beat the 3 seed in the quarterfinals.
Who's that?
I don't recall who it is off the top of my head, but it's not someone that scares me. I mean, the top 2 at that weight class seem to be a clear cut above the rest of the field. Messenbrink and Mikey Caliendo, Iowa. He teched Scholes earlier in the year.
Oh, yeah.
And then Messenbrink teched Caliendo. But then Messenbrink only majored skulls.
Do you think Messenbrink and Skulls wrestle together at Askren?
Probably at some point. I would say more likely they wrestle together there now. But there's a pretty big age gap between them.
Oh, really? Because in Messenbrink.
I think Messenbrink is 4 years clear of high school.
Oh, really? Yeah, because he wrestled somewhere else.
Cal Baptist. Should be a fun tournament. I went to the last time it was in Minneapolis, which 2019. One of the things that stood out to me, just watching them warm up, the way that they can move, incredible. And this will be perhaps a referendum on the state of college athletics, but I was most impressed with the warm-ups of Gable Steveson, who, keep that in mind folks, I went to a college wrestling tournament in 2019. It is now 2025. 6 years later.
Did he win that one?
He did not. And that was exciting because he hadn't lost in college yet. And he was at Minnesota, but it was a large contingent of Penn State and Iowa fans. And at the time, they didn't really appreciate Gable's showmanship.
Yeah, I remember that.
And, you know, he would do a lot of the Muhammad Ali stuff in the center of the mat. You know, stand up and tell his opponent to come get him. And he got beat by Anthony Cassar. The underweight heavyweight from Penn State. It was his first loss, I believe.
Did he win nationals then?
He did not. He would go on to get beat by Cassar again 2 weeks later.
In the finals?
Semifinals. Because after the Big Ten final, it bumped them to the 2 and the 3 seed. So they met each other semis. You're stretching my memory, but I believe it was Tyler White, Oklahoma State. Ended up making it to the finals on the other side. But Cassar won.
What's interesting is that Wisconsin is well represented at the Big Ten tournament, but the Badgers aren't.
And it's strike a nerve with our Wisconsin fan listeners or followers.
But it's why did the best wrestlers leave Wisconsin?
I don't want to get in any trouble here, so let's just say I think there's a pretty well documented feud with the coaching staff, or at least the head coach and the most successful and influential club coach in the state.
What's that?
But to his credit, Mr. Askren has regularly defended his position and his point of view that he does not favor particular schools or direct his kids away from